Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive, profound shift in how we interact with our digital world. Have you noticed lately that almost every app, gadget, and piece of software suddenly demands a monthly fee? From your home security system all the way to the heated seats in your car, the business model has fundamentally shifted. We're going to explore exactly how and why that happened, and more importantly, what it's really costing us, beyond just money. Let's kick things off with a question I know we've all muttered under our breath while staring at our bank statements in total frustration. Why did everything suddenly become a subscription? I mean, it wasn't always this way, right? There was a time when you bought a piece of software in a physical box, brought it home, installed it, and literally just used it for years. But today, the digital economy operates on a completely different set of rules. You see, digital tech initially promised us a very specific kind of freedom. It was supposed to give us back our time and control by making powerful tools incredibly cheap and accessible. But over time, that promise morphed into something entirely different. What started as unprecedented convenience slowly figured out how to charge rent. It started quietly binding us into these ongoing commercial relationships that were expected to keep alive indefinitely just to go about our everyday lives.
Section 1. The convenience trap. When easy access becomes a permanent tether. Let's peel back the first layer of this issue. We need to move past that surface-level annoyance of paying fees and look at what tech companies actually call this shift. Now, they rarely call this model what it really is, which is dependency. Instead, they cleverly package it up and sell it to us as convenience. They tell us, hey, it's cloud-connected, it's always updated, it's smoothly synced across all your devices. And to be fair, those features can be genuinely awesome. But it becomes a trap when that convenient option quietly becomes the only option you have to access your own tools. The catch here is that this convenience is surprisingly fragile. Beneath that clean little open button on your screen lies a massive chain of invisible, moving parts. Just to use a basic tool, your app depends on authentication systems to verify it's you, cloud hosting to keep the data alive, billing providers to confirm you actually paid this month, and licensing contracts that have to remain valid. All these scattered systems have to cooperate perfectly in real time. If just one single link in that chain breaks, your tool simply stops working. And that fragility, it creates a whole new burden for us. The real cost here isn't just financial. It's the exhausting mental load of managing this massive commercial maintenance layer. You're not just using tools anymore. You are constantly managing relationships with the companies that allow those tools to function. It's always another account, another password, another privacy policy to scroll past, and another expiring credit card to update, just to keep your daily habits going. Section 2. Ownership versus renting. What we lost when we stopped buying things once. This brings us to a fundamental shift in how we interact with our tech, the stark difference between actually owning an object and merely renting its capabilities. Think about traditional ownership. When you bought a physical camera, it stayed a camera even if the manufacturer went totally bankrupt, right? A physical book doesn't just suddenly lose chapter 6 because a licensing deal expired. But today, renting means your expensive smart home camera dies instantly if a remote server shuts down. Software on your own hard drive is completely useless without distant permission. We've traded owning objects that contain capability for renting capability that sits behind infrastructure we have absolutely no control over. Now, let's add some nuance here. Subscriptions make total sense in certain areas, specifically for services that actually require continuous infrastructure. Things like mobile networks needing constant upkeep, cloud storage providers paying for servers, or independent journalism funding daily reporting. Those totally justify an ongoing fee. But contrast that with continuous permission. It is deeply absurd to pay a monthly fee to use a basic drawing app locally on a tablet you already own, or to unlock a built-in hardware feature on a car sitting in your own driveway.
Section 3. Obsolescence by business model. When perfectly good hardware is forced to die.
When we accept this paradigm of continuous permission for hardware we already bought, we encounter a strange, entirely new kind of mortality for our modern gadgets. Devices today aren't dying because their physical parts fail. The processor is fine, the battery charges, the sensors work perfectly. But the product becomes completely worthless because the distant servers coordinating them are simply turned off. A company's business priorities shift, and suddenly your perfectly capable hardware is forced into an early grave. That is exactly what the source calls obsolescence by business model. The crucial point here is how we view the spaces these companies are building for us. Tech companies brilliantly sell these locked-in ecosystems as a huge win for functionality. And honestly, it is incredibly useful when everything seamlessly works together. But an ecosystem is only a beautiful garden if the gate opens from the inside. If leaving a platform means losing years of your history, your media, and your entire digital routine, well, it's not really a garden at all. It's a trap engineered for lock-in. Section 4. Centralized AI and control. The ultimate test of technological independence. This massive concentration of power and loss of control, it's becoming even more critical right now as we rapidly adopt artificial intelligence into our daily workflows. As AI systems become absolutely central to creative and professional work, we are accelerating into a dangerous new level of dependency. We risk anchoring our entire professional capability to centralized platforms we don't own, running on servers we'll never touch, governed by terms we can't meaningfully shape. It's an outsourced intelligence that literally evaporates the second your payment fails.
But there's a really fascinating alternative path emerging right now that could change the game. Because language models are shrinking in size and local computer hardware is getting so much more powerful, we're seeing the rise of intelligence that can sit locally on your own machine. Picture having an AI assistant that retains your personal memory locally on your hard drive, reads your files without ever uploading them to a corporate cloud, and works flawlessly even when your Wi-Fi completely drops out.
Section 5. Reclaiming our technology. The appeal of boring, independent tech.
So how do we push back against this tide? How do we advocate for a healthier, more independent relationship with our own devices? Well, the solution starts with valuing a concept called permanence. Now, permanence isn't about physical things lasting forever. It's the idea that simple, boring, independent tech keeps working based on its own merits and your needs, not whether a licensing deal was renewed this month. It's software that opens without calling home to a server. It's physical devices with buttons that actually work offline. To achieve this, we absolutely have to demand real digital escape routes from tech companies. This means software must allow us to export our life's work in open, standard formats. It means demanding that basic hardware retains its core functionality without requiring permanent internet connectivity. Leaving a service shouldn't be intentionally painful, and competing systems should be able to talk to each other. These aren't just minor engineering details, folks. They are the baseline requirements for human autonomy and a digital age.
Now, keeping things completely impartial as we review this material, it's important to note we aren't saying all subscriptions are evil. Some services provide immense ongoing value that fully justifies a monthly fee. But what the source fiercely rejects is the idea that giving up our independence should become the inescapable default setting for every single piece of technology we touch.
At its core, true technological progress shouldn't quietly undo the power of the individual. When personal computing started, it gave everyday people capabilities that previously required entire corporate institutions. Technology should widen our radius of human independence, giving us tools, knowledge, and capabilities that we can actually keep for good. So the next time you're prompted to agree to yet another monthly charge for a basic tool or a new gadget, ask yourself this. What exactly keeps happening every month that means this must be rented forever? Demand that your technology serves you and leaves the freedom firmly in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep asking the hard questions about the tools you use every day.